a form of flying where you're using the power of the atmosphere and the air to advantage.
That feeling of being as one with the sky is just wonderful.
The glider is infinitely controllable, can go anywhere that a powered aircraft can, provided you've got the rising air.
And of course, if you're lucky enough and it's a good thermal, you might get a wedge-tailed eagle come in and join you, sit off the wingtip. That's pretty cool.
They just make it look so easy. Gliding is the most fantastic, unbelievable individual sport in the air and an incredible team sport on the ground. We're sort of a strange, massive, dysfunctional family.
We're all probably maniacs. Typical pilots are all egomaniacs, frankly. You look at racing car drivers, pilots generally, so we all think we're Top Gun. You get here early in the morning and you check out the glider, make sure it's airworthy.
There's a lot of preparation that takes place on the ground. It's the responsibility of the pilots as well to ensure that the glider is in the conditions suitable for the flight.
And that whole pre-flight preparation is about making sure that the people are ready, the gliders are ready, and then we have a morning briefing, and that's basically where we look at the conditions of the day, any hazards, the weather, and how we're going to run the operation. Then we tow our aircraft to the launch point and first glider hooks on and the adventure begins. Someone's got to do it and I'm glad it's me.
To take off, what you see and what you feel is the tow plane lifting off, and then you climb away and you're thinking, my goodness, am I really doing this? And I've heard people say that. The launch proceeds, you release from the tow plane, and that's a bit of an umbilical cord for many people on their first flight. They think, oh my God, there's no longer an engine, and then it sinks into them. They're gliding.
In a glider, you're much more with the air and you're just moving more gently. You feel this connection with the air all the time and with the atmosphere, the weather. And that feeling you get when you're flying, you get under a cumulus and then you feel that surge of air underneath you, that's sort of, yes.
Coming into land, most people find is a bit of a relief, but they're back up for another one. Being in the 50th year of the club really makes me think of how it was back in the 25th year of the club. In many respects, of course, the gliders are more sophisticated. A lot of the same people are around, including me. We're all 25 years older than we were back then. The culture of gliding has changed a lot. Back in the early days, it was very much a team effort. These days, if you've got somebody in the tow plane and a pilot in the glider, you've got an operation.
In 1962 we started way to the north of Canberra up near Lake George, and we've been part of the Cooma Monero community for well over 30 odd years and on this airfield since 1982.
And it was just a big paddock. We moved hangars on it clubhouses, had working bees. Now we've got this club here and it's world renowned.
We've worked hard to actually keep the facilities in this club good. The critical thing is getting the volunteers to keep the club running as a good team enterprise without overloading people. And our demographic seems to be becoming the young fellas coming through, but we're getting a lot of empty nesters and people who are in their post-kid career deciding, I've always wanted to fly, let's do it. What makes us different is we deliberately go and we do the club camps elsewhere, and we've got a pretty good reputation out of that.
We're known for high altitude flying here. Typically we're looking for the weather conditions that happen this time of year.
There's a lot of gliders from all over Australia that come here to fly in wave.
The club realised that they were flying in an area where there's wave soaring, where we've got this fantastic environment for incredibly high performance, high altitude soaring. Thermal lift is where you've got hot air rising and eagles circling and we climb in that. The wave is when you've got a rock in a stream and the stream is flowing smoothly over the rock, you get those standing ripples going downstream. You get the same thing in the atmosphere, except those ripples 20, 25, 30, 35,000 feet. It's a great feeling, but it's very technical. You've got to be very precise in where you fly and how you do it.
It's a very hostile environment. The temperatures outside are minus 32 depending on how high you are, and you're on oxygen, and to get back down from that altitude it will take over 10 minutes.
There's a body of knowledge here that's associated with the wave soaring, which we find that we're passing on knowledge and skill to other people in the gliding movement. And part of the wave camp, we've got people from all around Australia coming to join us and learn from us and extend their own personal bests and limits in the air. The Australian height record was set at this club by Rick Agnew. He flew here in the mid-90s and he got up to 33,000 feet. Fantastic.
I'm known for high altitude flying, but actually I'm a long distance flyer. The longest flight I've had, distance-wise, is over 1,000 kilometres, and time-wise, 10 minutes shy of 17 hours. And it's a long day in the office.
Different pilots take different approaches. Some pilots are very competitive. They try to use as much lift and fly as fast and further away as possible. Some other pilots, they enjoy just looking at the scenery and relaxed atmosphere and relaxed flying.
Really, it's still the same club, the same people, and the same sport, the same wonderful experience we all share of soaring flight. Until you've experienced it, you just can't appreciate how wonderful it is.